If looking for the best movement patterns you need for gym training, a lot of the time you'll get the same answers. The problem is these suggestions are always missing out other very important ones you don't want to miss, which we are going through in this video and the best exercises for each of them. If you look at the standard suggestions, it will generally be suggesting 6 to 8 different movement patterns, such as a squat-based movement like a standard squat, a hip hinge-based movement like a deadlift, a vertical push like a shoulder press, a vertical pull like a pull-up or a lat pull-down, a horizontal push like a bench press, and a horizontal pull like a row. Then some might add in suggestions like a lunge and a carry-based movement like a farmer's walk. All great movements and all things to add in. But all these suggestions are missing 6 other big movements you really want to add in to be truly balanced in your training. And it's all these spinal-based movement of the trunk that gets missed. These movements are based on the sagittal, frontal, and transverse planes, and you want stabilization and movement in each of those planes, with one plane being missed in most of them all. So let's go through the best exercises to add for each one. So number 1 is a sagittal movement. So this movement is flexion and extension of the trunk. A common one that gets added for this would be crunches for the abs. But the best for this would be something like a reverse hyperextension. The only problem is they're so hard to come by. So instead, a great one would be a normal hyperextension. You can get really good flexion and extension of the back here and can easily progress it by holding weights. The best way to start with this is when coming back up, keep the movement slow and don't come all the way, then having a little pause at the top where the resistance will be high due to gravity. If you go too high, then there'll be less resistance at the top. Doing 15 of these really confined with a pause, and the lot will not be needing any weight at all. 2 is sagittal stabilization. So this is resisting the flexion and extension movement. Some exercises from other movement patterns will already include this one. So if doing something like a deadlift or a squat, you'll be getting this in anyway. But another exercise to add would be a plank. Again, normally a popular movement, but still one to add. 3 is frontal movement. So this would be a trunk side flexion. And the best to add for this is again on the hyperextension, but doing it side on. You can get a great stretch as you relax down, and then use a similar technique as the normal hyperextension. Come up slow, not all the way, and have a pause, and then repeat. And you'll find this to be really effective, but with the option for progressing this by adding weight if you want. 4 is frontal stabilization. So this is resisting trunk side flexion. One of the most common ways to do this is a side plank, and a great option for it, but a better one would be a single arm farmer's walk, and we'll explain why in a second. This is basically just holding the weight one side and walking. When doing this, make sure your body isn't off to the side or your hips aren't shifted, because that's exactly what we're trying to resist against. Also, to make it even more effective, just holding the weight slightly off from the body. The reason this is a great option is because 1, you're getting the carrying aspect, so it fits into 2 patterns, but also you can progress easily by changing the weight. With the side plank, you're restricted to just your body weight, and you can only really progress it with more time. 5 is the transverse movement. This plane is the most missed of them all, and this is getting some trunk rotation in. The best and most simple way to do this is with rotations on a cable machine. Keep your feet facing forward and then rotate the whole body. So looking in one direction and then a full 180 degrees to the opposite. This is great because you can easily progress it by changing the weight again. 6 is a transverse stabilization. So this is resisting that rotation of the body. Great ways to do this are single arm based movements of other patterns, like a single arm press or a single arm row. You wouldn't do this to work the horizontal push or pull patterns because you just wouldn't be able to get heavy enough, but it is a good option to work this transverse stabilization. The best option for this would be the pull-off press though. Using a cable machine and holding it out in front of you, you could do this as a hold or for reps, and something again that can be easily progressed by changing the weight used. With these last 4 that we've done, just make sure you're doing it both sides to keep it all even now. And if you're looking for a gym program that's got all of the movement patterns added, including these additional ones that get missed all the time, then we have done that for you. The link is in the description. And rotations and that transverse plane are one of the biggest it's missed out. So you can watch this video here where we go through many more options, including how to combine it with other movement patterns.